All right, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, we have about 47 participants online. Way more people are going to be coming in here as we go along, but let's make sure that we do let our teammates know, send out our texts, because our speaker for today is none other than Bill Predebon. Now, folks, if you're new to the call or you haven't heard Bill's story, back in the day, Bill used to be a pro skier in Vail, Colorado. And around that time, he realized he was not qualified to do much else, felt employable. And he, around that time, got into the franchise industry, but because of a lack of knowledge, this ended up costing him his entire business, and he lost everything. But because of his resilience, in 2007, Bill had just heard about real estate investing, and despite not having education, he decided to try his hand again at entrepreneurship, but again ended up going upside down during the crash of 2008. And he found that, what he was doing wasn't quite working, although he was learning a lot along the way. But around that time, he was lucky enough to find Renatus, and that provided him an education and an environment which he can grow and succeed. And in his first year alone, he made 8 times more than he had in his previous year. Ever since then, Bill has done now over 130 deals. The last I had heard, probably more by now, grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He is a PIT team member. He's a marketing leader. And I really look up to Bill because Bill is very transparent and open and very approachable in answering our questions. So without further delay, I'd like to bring Bill Predebon on the line. Good morning, Bill. How is your morning going today?
What does it sound like this morning?
It sounds perfect. It sounds really good. We can hear you loud and clear.
Well, that is good news. That is good news. Awesome. Well, I did log in and log out earlier, so I figured maybe that would solve the problem right away. Perfect, man. Good morning, Joanne. So the good news is that we are here, and Abdi is putting this together for us and putting up the generally speaking, which I think is an awesome idea, Abdi. It's so cool. I don't get to watch all those every time they come out. I think I'm going to get back to them, but now that we have this every morning, I get to either listen to them or watch them when we're here. So it's just great. And the same with the Money Matrix. So thanks a lot for putting this together and for just coming out here and taking the lead and leading our group every morning. And I just appreciate what you're doing. You're awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right on. All right. So I got 49 people. That's a little low. Not really sure why that is, but maybe you could reach out. Hopefully we'll have some people trickling in. So reach out to some of your team. But the cool thing is, the 49 of you are awesome, and you're here with me this morning. And so hopefully we can, have some good takeaways, and we can kick off the Tuesday for a good meeting. So I'm going to go to video, I think, if my computer's working. There it is. And I will type up. So a lot of times we get a lot of new IMAs, which is so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my phone number, 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. I put it in the chat. So I've got a few things to talk about, but I just want to put it out there. We've been, a lot of the guys do this as well that are training, but obviously if there's something, when I did a training, I'll go over a little bit about my training this weekend. Did a workshop in Virginia for the DC Stars, Umer and Yaz's group out there. It was awesome. Super fun. We had like 84 people in the room, and I don't know, I think we had 20 online, something like that. I don't know the numbers, but just a packed house. And one of the things I did there was, in the beginning, I just asked what everybody wanted to cover. The most important thing, in my opinion, is, and I got this, really obviously from all the leaders, but from John O'Neill, is to bring value, right? And so if I'm not bringing value, then I'm not going to have 100 people on this call. So fortunately, I do get a lot of texts and I do get a lot of calls and appreciation of the call. So that's awesome. It's good to hear because you never know on this end. But in the meantime, for you guys that are here, if there is something today that, and I don't care what day it is, but today specifically, I have less training notes than I typically do. Then I want to hear from you guys and what I could help you cover. I'm going to go over a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to dive into, from that announcement, into a little intensive training on building for an intensive and what I've been doing the last couple of days for my intensive here and for Heather Echevarria. And then we'll talk about my Saturday if I don't have any other tangent questions. But I would love to have you come off mute at any time, starting now till whenever, or chat if you have something specifically that I can address that. And Christian Sather's been doing this. Like, he had a really great call the other day, and had a bunch of answers or questions or topics that people, so he's been covering those. So I'm not taking away from that at all. I just meant specifically for you guys today that I can maybe relate to you on. With that, I found out from Michael yesterday that, I hope I cover this correctly. I found out from Michael yesterday that IMA corporate, so IMAs that enroll this coming week, that Friday after, so I got to get this straight. Friday, IMAs that are going to be enrolling in an IMA the week before the intensive coming up at the corporate office will have access to Saturday's intensive. So Michael wanted me to cover that. I just hope I got that right. I was texting him to make sure, so he's getting back to me. So yeah, it's kind of a promotion they're going to do where if your IMA does enroll as an IMA on that week before the intensive, then they will be able to participate in the intensive at the office, at the corporate. Michael's going to text me back, make sure I got that right. Okay. With that, Michael went over the 30-day and 60-day superstars. I think it's an awesome promotion. I think here's one thing I'm going to put out there, take in mind, and we're going to get to some content too, is that what we've got coming up are a few things. Number one is we're finishing out the summer and we're ramping up this 30, 60-day challenge. And then we roll into regional season, as you know. And regional season is this season for a reason. There's a reason he puts it together at this time. It's the fall. And there are more enrollments, to my knowledge, with Renatus during the fall than any other quarter. It is a ramped up time for whatever reason. And possibly, in my opinion and experience, it's, people have been on vacation. They've made less money over the summer, perhaps. They also have spent more money over the summer. They have moved or relocated for school purposes. The children are back in school. Yeah, so what he's saying is yes. So IMAs, if you become an IMA, you can log in from anywhere and have access to the intensive, because typically that's live education. But yeah, you would have access to the intensive as an IMA. So from anywhere, or go live to the event if you want. So just a promotion that you can put out there. So with that, you guys, we have people coming up after summer that are hungry. They're hungry for a change. It's a new year, technically. Like, it's not January, but it is a new school year. They're back to their routine of their regular job. The summer vacations are over and that type of thing, and the bills are up and it's getting colder. And for whatever reason, it's just time for a change, and people are looking for something, and we get more enrollments in the fall. We have the regionals. We get ramped up with great training. We get ramped up with promotions and looking forward to the new year, the holidays, having extra money for the holidays, all of these things. So think about this. With this 30 and 60-day challenge with your new IMAs or yourselves, you've got a great opportunity to really that'll be the catapult. That will be the fuel and the fire to lead into the regional season and the fall season to really make some money. I mean, really enroll some students and build a team. There's no better opportunity. I mean, if you think about it, Bob put on a contest last year for the first time, and it was in the fall. It was at the end of the year, and led into next year. And, so he could take people out in the spring to coincide with the national. So if you've got some momentum in the fall, in the fourth quarter through regional season, you're going to set yourself up for an opportunity. I don't know that there's going to be another contest. Maybe there will, maybe there won't be. But if there is, I want to make sure that I'm grandfathered in. I want to make sure that I'm ready to get started. Can an IMA attend any regional with guests? So the answer to that is yes. An IMA, remember, IMA is independent marketing affiliate. And most of you know this, but we're going to cover it. Do not need to purchase any education or enroll in any education to be an IMA. It's $197 a year. It is prorated. So if they enroll now, they're probably going to get 6 months off next year as a proration. And then, so it'll be a lot less next year when they re-up in January. It won't be a full amount. Once you're an IMA and you've gone through the 7-day right of rescission, during that time, then you can go ahead and you can register for an intensive anywhere in the country. Once you register for the intensive, you can bring guests. However, this is regional. Sorry, the regionals. Yes. You can go to any regionals. You just have to pay for it. And so, but you can also bring guests, but they have to pay, or you have to pay for them. So there's no events that anybody is restricted to that are on the calendar. There's just fees that are associated sometimes. Now, across the country, you guys, remember, through corporate, any intro that is being held, any intro or beginning, first time exposure event presented should be at no cost to anybody. Sometimes new IMAs don't know this, and they have a fee associated with a Thursday night intro or a Tuesday night intro or an intro. Now, if you're doing an intro at a Super Saturday, that's different. But if you're doing an intro by itself to be a first exposure, 4 pillars of wealth, 5 pillars of wealth, an epic presentation, those are free. Those are free to you. They're free to your guests so that you can see that exposure anywhere in the country. If it's not free, you just politely want to call up the IMA that is hosting the event and just remind them that as a corporate policy. From there, everything else, including the regional, typically has an association of a fee, of a subscription, or a fee associated with it to support the community and to, for your business. You have an opportunity to make a $10,000 check, so paying $20 for an event is not a big deal. Typically, it will also charge your guests. However, there's such a good benefit. So Joanne and Dave are great examples of a couple people that enrolled in the Business Builder subscription in Arizona because they want to come to the Arizona events, as well as their own market in California. So they pay the business subscription so that they can attend all of the events for the entire month for the same cost for free after they pay for the Business Builder, and it offsets most of the costs that you would have for each individual event. So check your local markets, check the markets that you're looking into and inviting in. And then once you pay that Business Builder subscription, typically, your guests are free. Your unlimited guests are free. So most of you know that. Just a quick coverage. So when we talk about intensives, most markets, intensives are separate, as you know, from the Business Builder's subscription, okay? Intensives have an additional cost. Just so you are aware, it doesn't matter. The event host is hosting it, but not all event hosts are PAC members. So with that being said, they're not all making overrides on everybody, right? So there's additional costs. They have to fly in the instructor. They have to pay for their hotel and food. They have to pay for an additional space typically to help the instructor. There's more food costs, more beverage costs, more tax costs, more costs associated with the fees going through the Renata system. There's just a lot more costs involved in hosting an intensive. There's a lot more preparation work. There's a lot more time. And so there is an associated fee with that intensive. Besides that fee, it is very minimal. I mean, 40, 30, 25, 30, $50, that's cheap. I mean, that is to make a $10,000 check when you've got a multi-millionaire seasoned investor, training and closing the room for you, edifying Renatus and your team. It's an unbelievable experience. You guys have all experienced it as customers, and then you enrolled. But now you want to, bring your guests to experience this, because I'm telling you, if this is a second or third or fourth exposure for a guest, the odds of them closing go far up, and you're missing the boat if you're going there to study. Okay. So here's the deal. As far as intensives go, that associated fee is such a powerful opportunity because it is one where there's value. There's value for the guest. It's not free, right? Free, people have choices. They have choices to attend, to leave early, to not go, to not attend, all different kinds of things. Just to nonchalantly invite people, nonchalantly commit to the event. When there's a fee associated with it, there's a little bit more of a commitment. There's also a sense of value. There's a sense of, hey, they're charging for this. It must be worth something, right? When you see things that are discounted 70% off and 50% off, and they're in a discounted bin or a discounted shelf. I mean, think about the quality of the display of a discounted product shelf at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's not organized. You can't ever tell the real price. The stuff's broken. The boxes are open. They're taped over with duct tape. I mean, think about it. It's an absolute free-for-all. There's not a lot of value. You're looking for the diamond in the rough. You're spending some time. You're searching through it. You want to get a good deal, but most of the time you pass on it because it's all crap. It's what people didn't want. It's broken. It's missing parts, whatever. So there's no value there. There's value on new items. There's value on stuff that is displayed well. There's value on stuff that is marketed on the middle shelf, that has colors, that is nice packaging, that is accessible, right? That has competition around it. That has value, and it's not free. So we're willing to pay for that value. It's the same thing with these intensives. We don't want these intensives to be free. We don't want you to go for $20. It's not just about supporting your community, although that is a big part of it. In our mindset, in the abundance mindset of Renatus, in the give to get back in mindset of Renatus, in the support everyone, in all of these different mindsets that we create in Renatus, that we are growing to become, the change from employee to entrepreneur, the change from scarcity to abundance, to gratitude from a selfish attitude. These mindsets are around supporting communities and paying those fees. The best part about it, like, listen to this. I'm telling you, man, when I had to pay for stuff, when I was broke, just flat broke in 2007, 8, 9, when I made 190 grand in 09, I was broke. I was flat broke. I had a $72,000 month in May of 2008. I think it was May or June, 6 months into this business. And I literally stroked a check for like $48,000 to my wife, and I owed her a ton of money. It didn't even cover, you guys. We were over $10,000 a month. It didn't even cover the past 4 months of bills that we had paid because of all the mistakes I made. Like 10 grand, $12,000 a month in overhead, and personal bills, and upside down mortgages. And having to pay for a Super Saturday, I remember paying $30 for a Super Saturday, was out of this world. Going to an intensive, back then it was like $75 because they were 2-day intensives, 2 days of not working. I mean, but technically you're working, which I'm going to get to in a minute. It was insane. But the value created was a must not miss, a must pay attention, a must follow, like a must bring guests. It was a sense of urgency. I'm paying my own, I don't even have $30. I'm stealing it from my wife. That's not true. But I'm literally causing a headache and a problem because I don't have a job. I'm not making any money. And I'm spending money on something that's not bringing me back an instant return. Right? Trying to figure out how to get gas to go. And some of you may experience this right now or have experienced it. I know Michael Huggins did. right? And that value that we create with that feed is amazing. And so putting that value out to your guests makes more sense. So, with the intensives, I want to talk a little bit about it. You guys know this. I know that you know this, but it's always good to rehear it, especially when we got some intensives coming up. Chris Wilson out here in Phoenix, Scottsdale. We've got this huge intensive being streamed online live with Heather, right? So here's the deal. Intensives are a great way for you to, number one, meet the instructor. Number two, you're probably going to learn something. You're going to pay attention. Number three, the social event, the opportunity to rub shoulders with all your teammates and people that are doing well in leadership and all that stuff is great. But in my opinion, in my experience, that's not the reason why we go. In fact, the intensives really shouldn't be for you to learn anything. They're really not for you. They're not for an IMA. They're not for an education holder. They are for guests. They are for you to leverage Renatus as a corporation, providing you an opportunity, and not only Renatus, but also your local leadership, who's ever hosting the event, who's ever flying in the instructor. It is an opportunity for you to leverage the system that Bob created, that the home team supports, that the leadership supports, that enables you as an IMA and me as an IMA to leverage a system that I can put people in place to witness and experience the great resources that Renatus has to offer when we're trying to market and sell our products. So when the guest that's interested in real estate gets to experience an all-day event and be in front of an educator, and remember, the educator is not selling. They're not upselling their own education. They're not upselling their own coaching. They're not upselling their own product. They're simply endorsing and edifying Renatus. They're edifying the team. They're edifying the leadership. They are edifying Renatus and the home team. They're edifying the education. They're edifying their peers. There are all the other educators. They are edifying the service team at that event, and they're making it an incredible experience. On top of that, they are delivering up-to-date, state of the times in their business experiences and knowledge as to what they're doing today's day and time, right? Real-time information. And they're delivering it in a way that is very, very deep, and where people can take stuff home with it that weekend and go out the next week. But they're delivering it on an overview when people don't even realize it. They're delivering this information and this education on such an overview that some of your guests won't even realize that there's so much great content, but very little of it that can they go ahead and do anything with. It's a 6-hour event, just like we have 6-hour trainings, but at our 6-hour trainings, they're going from A to Z, right? They are literally getting you from not knowing anything about fix and flip to being able to go out and flip a house the next day. Here, they're talking all about overview, but they're hammering home little points that are like little nuggets where people take away incredible value from it, but they want more. They're test driving, as you've heard before. They're experiencing what it's like to see one of 65 plus classes, right? And so that is invaluable. That is worth the $30, the $50, the $80 for your guest, because they're seeing the value of what Renatus has to offer. And then it's simply immediately, booking a BAM fam, right? Booking a meeting from a meeting on that intensive, meeting up with them at lunchtime, meeting up with them at break time, and just asking them what they like best so far, introducing them to as many community members as possible, telling as many stories as possible. And that's the experience of an intensive. You guys, I rarely take notes at intensives, right? I have my notebook out. I got my computer out. I'm doing my thing, but I'm not taking many notes. I'm trying to pay attention as much as possible, but I'm constantly thinking about my team, my team's guests, and my guests, right? That's it. I'm looking forward to what I'm going to say to them. I'm helping to support the team. I'm helping make it a better event. Typically, I'm giving the education presentation portion of it, so I can get in and do an hour presentation during the intensive, so we can talk about what's possible at Renatus and how they can get started at Renatus. And so that's my goal at an intensive. You know, if you don't have guests, now if you're a retail customer, you're going to have a great experience at the intensive. You know, if you're brand new and you need to get a few fake names and phone numbers at an intensive, great. But in my opinion, if you're brand new, the fastest way to money is through marketing. All the education you possibly need is in your back office. It's online, delivered to you 24 hours a day. It's updated every year, every 2 years. It's re-recorded and new classes are added. You can rewind it, fast forward it. You can download it. You can MP3 it. You can watch it, listen to it, read it, notebook it, print it out, email your instructors. Everything you need is at your fingertips. You've got coaching, group coaching, personal coaching, mentorship. You got everything you need. You don't need the intensive to learn. So if you're there and you're not bringing guests, you know, I get it. It's not easy. I went to many intensives with no guests, right? I'm not calling, you know, whatever they call that, calling the kettle black. I don't know. I don't know what that saying is. Not at all, you guys. I get it. It takes determination, it takes commitment, and it takes just doing it, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do it. But do it, you know what I mean? But we've got it. It starts with the right mindset. It starts with the right reason. It starts with the right thought process and commitment to the intensives. The commitment to the intensive is not to just go and come up with the money and get time off of work. I'd rather you go to work and bring guests there. That would be better off for you. Don't skip your job and just send guests. If you go there and get out of work, in my opinion, because you want to learn from Mark Kohler or Heather Echeverria or whatever it is, I think you're making a mistake. You should keep that PTO day off or paid day off or whatever it is, or, you know, sick day or whatever. Keep it in your back pocket for when there's an event that you need to go to, like a regional for training for IMA, and then stay at work and then bring your guests, because your guests are going to be there for a different reason. Your guests are going to be there to learn and experience. But if you're there and you have one guest, right, you want to prepare. You want to talk to other IMAs that have had guests at events before and ask them what they do next. And how, you know, do they come up to them and do they ask for the sale, or, you know, what they do? You know, you want to introduce them to the instructor if you can. You want to encourage them to go up to the instructor and ask questions. You want to introduce them to leadership, people that you look up to and trust. Your 5-star, whatever the case is. That's what you should be doing. That's what your note should be about, is preparing for the entire day's events around your guest experience. Checking to see that they enjoy the food or have enough water or whatever the case is. Those are the things, in my opinion, that make a great experience at an intensive. You know, I try to get my people to sit together. I count them. I count to see that everybody's there. I talk to my teammates and see if they're having okay time with their guests and things like that. It's a constant reminder. Hey, we've got to book a meeting from a meeting. When can we get together with them? What are they enjoying, right? I go up and meet them. I go up and talk to them. I go up and talk real estate with them, whatever the case is. So it starts with that mindset as to what the intensive is for while we're at the intensive. Now remember, guys, it's only 7:35. If anybody has a question and wants me to cover something, I don't care what it's about, shout it out. Come off mute. Type it in the chat. So this week, I'm dedicating 100% to Chris Wilson. I texted Chris the other day, and I talked to him, and I was talking to him about what he's going to be training on, and he's going to be training on building a wholesaling business. And I tuned into a webinar, right? The webinar is recorded, right? I'm making money in real estate. I'm making money in marketing. Why would I be on the webinar? Nope. It's Heather Echeverria. Heather Echeverria is the bomb, right? I mean, like, whatever. I'm going to listen to I'm going to go on and get on the webinar. I'm going to spend my time. It's part of my business. It's what I do. It's part of the time when my shop is open. So, you know, last night we got to hear about what she's talking about at the intensive, what she's going to train on, what she's been doing, her background, her history, her story. You know, I mean, she's a realtor and a licensed contractor. I mean, tell somebody that. So Chris is going to be talking about wholesaling, and Heather's going to be talking about fix and flip. I don't care what market you're in right now. These are the two #1 strategies in the country in real estate. So that's one of my text scripts. So I'm reaching out to anybody. I've got an entire list right here of people that I've invited, that have come to meetings or haven't come to meetings, old leads, new leads, whatever the case is. I got my board, right? I'm checking with every single one of my teammates. I sent them all my texts that I'm doing. I personally let every single one of them know what my plan is this week. So far, yesterday, I have 2 warm market guests coming, right? One guy I haven't invited to an event in a couple of years. He's got to work, but his partner's coming on Saturday, is stoked. And so what I'm saying is that #1 is, I'm gonna read it out loud and then we'll break it down, right? So this is what I said. I talked to text this, and then I told it to my group. I told it to each one of my team members. There's a couple I got to get to again today. I haven't done it to all my 5 stars. Most of this I went to my non-5 stars first, and then my 5 stars, they own their own business now. They're making their own 100% of their own income and their own earnings. So they're on their own to make their own decisions, but I'm going to encourage them with what I'm doing and let them know, right? So #1 is, it goes like this. How did I start it out? Good question. Real quick, hold on. Boy, I got a lot of these texts are crazy. All right. Bear with me. Okay. So, and I should know this off the top of my head. I don't know why I just spaced it a little bit. Okay. So, obviously I say, hey, this weekend, this Saturday, FYI, depending on who I'm talking to, right? So if it's a guest, I've only done it for a couple of guests. The main thing I was doing yesterday was a lot of my team members. But this is the overview. Hey, this weekend, the 27th is going to be Chris Wilson. I'm not sure if you know this, but Chris Wilson has been investing in real estate for over 3 decades, 35 plus years. He's one of the best wholesalers and fix and flippers and real estate investors in all of Texas and Arizona. So he's going to be training this weekend on a little bit of market analysis and market conditions, and more importantly, how it affects and specifically how to build a wholesaling business. As you know, wholesaling is probably the #1 investment strategy in today's crazy market. Wholesaling is also the kind of deal that you can not only do with no money or credit, but with nobody's money or credit. It's the only deal you can do that needs nobody's money or credit. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn how to build a wholesaling business and get into this investing opportunity like you wanted to do. So here's what I offered that's my script, right, so far, on introducing him to Chris Wilson. And what I'm offering either my own guests or my team that are getting 5-star, I'm saying this. I said, listen, I know it's worth incredible value. It's a Saturday. You're going to love this, right? So I'm right? I'm predicting that they're going to love it. What I'm so confident in Chris's ability to share with you some incredible information about wholesaling and the value that you're going to get out of that. There's a $40 fee, and it's an all-day event, and it includes lunch. However, I'm willing to, at the end of the day, I'm willing to refund your money. I'm willing to give you 100% guarantee that if you don't find value in this, if you don't like it, I'll refund your money and take care of it for you. but I know I've never had that experience before, right? So basically, the number one thing you can think of for Heather Echeverria or the intensive instructor is find out what they're teaching on, right? Number one. Number two is the topics we have, whether it's velocity banking, fix and flip, rehab, wholesaling, these topics are incredible. Then you can even move into, even intensive with Eric Counts on credit. Credit is so volatile. It's so important. It's changing all the time. So, we can say these are one of the number one investment strategies in the market today. One of the most important financial strategies in the market today, if you're talking about a finance intensive. But specifically for Heather, we're talking about fix and flip, right? We're talking about it everywhere in every market, her ability to do fix and flips, right? So, with Heather's story, Michael touched on it yesterday, 2 deals a week, 100 deals a year. She said last night she's done over 875 fix and flips or deals over the last decade. Incredible, right? And so she's going to be teaching on fix and flip. And you mention that, you say, hey, this is incredible. She's been recognized in multiple awards or multiple recognitions in the state of Idaho. She's probably the number one investor in all of Idaho. Been doing this, so on and so forth. And then you can talk about the idea that she's going to be teaching on fix and flip, and then you can make the offer. If you're not an IMA, if you're not a 5-star, then perhaps your guest, you could go to your 5-star. They don't have to do this, but maybe you can ask them to participate. And maybe they would make the offer, the guarantee offer. That's up to you. It's not something you have to do. It doesn't need to be done. There's enough value there anyway. It's just something I'm doing, right? It's something I'm doing for my IMAs and my guests. And I'm going to encourage my 5-stars to do it. Today, I'll reach out to my 5-stars and I'll let them know what I'm doing. And so they can either participate in it or not. Because the 5-star is going to make the $9,500 to $10,000, as you know, when they close. So $40 refund on half a dozen people is only a couple $100. And I think once they get that $10,000 check, it'll be worth it. Again, the other thing is I've never had anybody who asked for a refund. Now, I haven't done this that many times, but I can tell you, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people asking for a refund from either one of these people. The topics alone are incredible, and they're going to be able to learn. So, you have the opportunity where, again, you go back. Is that offer for as many guests as we can get to an event? For me, Lee, 100%. I think I mentioned it to you yesterday. I'm pretty sure I texted you. So, yes, you guys, if you have 10 people coming, whether they come or not, if they pay and all 10 want their money back, I'll give it to them. That's my guarantee. It's a guarantee. I'm keep my word. That's for all of my guests and for my non-5-stars. 100%. If I've got 15 IMAs that are looking to get 5-starred and they all invite 5 people, and that's 60 people or whatever that is. What is it? I think so. 60 people that are coming to the event. I'm down. Actually, it's 75 people. I'm totally down for it. I'll refund 75 people if I have to. Most importantly, you guys, is that, let's imagine that you have a guest that hasn't been to an exposure yet. So maybe you've already reached out to them and they've blown you off. Perhaps you do this. You come up with a creative text. Now, for me, I talked to one of my guys. He's one of my 5-stars. I was talking about this, and I gave him a little script. And, for me, I told him, I said, Raf, I think you should personally call a lot of the people you're talking to, because he's on a text message with these guys quite often. He's invited them. Please do, Lee. Absolutely. And I said, you know what? A personal call is most important to me. A personal call is dynamic. So with my buddy Eddie, I've done real estate in the past with him. He's a professional golfer, and he was on Facebook. We were Facebooking over the U.S. Open, the Open in Scotland this weekend. So I Facebooked him yesterday. So it was kind of more personal than just a text. And I texted him that info. I'm like, hey man, and I said what I said. And then he said, he responded with, hey, I'm booked, but I'm going to check with my partner and see if he can go. And then he got right back to me and said, my partner can go. He's going to go. He's stoked. Right. So, but for most, in my opinion, a phone call is the way to go. Now, if you've had guests that you don't have a real relationship with and they haven't attended an event, this is what I'm thinking is, you can make a double offer, right? And you could be like, listen, I got an amazing opportunity coming up on the 3rd, or if you're in this market this Saturday or whatever it is, whatever intensive you got coming up. And if it's the live streaming intensive, it could just be simple. It could just be this, this Thursday night, we've got an opportunity presentation, or however you want to call it. We've got a 5 pillars of wealth that I invited to you before. But the reason that this one's going to be incredible is we have an all-day intensive, right? So you kind of set it up with these 2 events and how one's linked to the other one. Or you can give them an option. Come Thursday night or come to the all-day intensive Saturday. Or you can just skip it. There's nothing, they don't have to go to a Thursday night in order to go to an intensive. If they're missing Thursday night because they're always at work, or they always have something going on with the kids, or they always have an excuse, you can make the offer for Saturday, right? You can invite them to that Saturday event. And remember, it's about real estate. And in most of our markets, for people on this call, we are in real estate markets. And people are interested. They're driving by their houses and they're seeing their entire neighborhood getting flipped. Everywhere they go, there's flipping and tear downs and building going on. And they have an interest. There are so many fix and flip / cabin shows and island shows and beach house shows and all this stuff on HGTV. People are interested. I was on the plane flying out to Virginia this weekend, and everyone, half the people weren't watching movies. They were watching TV flip shows and home improvement shows. So it's a popular demand. All right. I think I beat that up enough. I think I got you guys going. If you got any questions on what I'm offering or what I say to a guest for an intensive, then just put it in here, come off mute and let me know, and I can address it. I'll talk to a little bit as we transition. I think there's no more notes on that for my intensives. So let me know if you guys have any questions or any thoughts on this. I think it's going to be amazing. Chris Wilson is going to be dynamic. I can tell you, if you've got anybody in Arizona that, no matter where you live, reaching out to them, inviting them to our intensive is going to be incredible. We've got one of the best hospitality teams in the country. We are very well organized. We run an incredible show. We have great food for lunch, and Chris Wilson is amazing. So you don't want to miss that opportunity to invite someone there. And then you can always reach out to us, and we can help you, take care of your guest. And you can always reach out to people across the country that are hosting the event, and let them know that you're bringing in a guest. Call them up, introduce yourself, let them know. I mean, there are numbers on the event host when you're registering, and reach out to them, text them, call them, email them, let them know you're going to have a guest there. Ask them to help you, ask them who they can put you in touch with that can also help you talk to your guests and things like that. Don't go it alone. This is a team business. There's a big team across the country willing to help you out. Joanne says, we are coming in on Thursday and planned a 3-foot rule Friday to get people there for Saturday. That's awesome. I mean, that's dedication, you guys. 100%, massive action. Do what it takes. That's cool. Come to Thursday night's meeting for sure. As well, Joanne. Yeah. Cool. So I was going to talk a little bit. Let's see. I'm in Orlando. I am willing to meet guests for anyone that wants to send them. See? Way to go, Tammy. You guys, there's nothing better than, and here's what I don't, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. Build in your backyard. It's the easiest thing to do, right? It's the fastest way to marketing. You don't want to start building a market in another area when you're not even 5-star, right? They're going to roll up to somebody else, all those different things like that. But when it comes to warm market or, a certain guest, or maybe there's a certain event you want to build to, so be it. If you want to do cold marketing in another market, that's up to you. But specifically, in my opinion, is if you got warm market, you got friends or family, you used to live there, you grew up there, you went to college there. If there's something like that, that would be my recommendation on who to build for in that market when it's a foreign market for you, an out-of-state market. In the meantime, your main business, in my opinion, at least until you're 5-star qualified, should be in your own backyard with the team that you're with, and let your 5-star and your team help you get 5-star qualified and get some team members under your belt, so that, in my opinion, you start to build a foreign market and help someone out there. You have the ability and the funding to be able to fly out there and meet them and go to some events out there and really work on helping that individual when they're on your team out there. But if you're broke or you don't have the extra funds to fly out there, other than, in my, like I said, warm market or family or friends or colleagues or a history there, I wouldn't necessarily, that's up to you. And it's up to you and your 5-star. Don't take everything I do and I say for granted. Double check, get a second opinion, or do what you want. You're a 1099 employee. You own your own business, do whatever you want. But, my experience is, get 5-star in your own backyard first. It's the easiest, fastest way to do things. But like I said, I'm not holding back from sending friends or family to another, if they're on my list, I'm sending them to an event no matter where they are. I'm not waiting till I'm 5-star. That's part of your list that you're working with on your 5-star. But absolutely, or, if, like I said, if there's a special event somewhere that you want to build for, that's up to you. Cool. I got 753. We covered intensives quite intensely. And on purpose. I just really think there's a whole different mindset behind an intensive and really any event that we do. Other than masterminds, maybe. Masterminds have a little bit of a special place in your heart for building rapport with your team. But masterminds were created to create intrigue for the guests. Masterminds were created to, you're welcome, Sandra. Masterminds are created for separating combo holders and education holders from guests. So when the guest sees that opportunity, which exactly what it is, that opportunity for them to be in a mastermind, to be talking about real estate deals, to be in a deal or no deal meeting, to be in a facilitation room where they're putting their education to work, something unique, something they don't experience anywhere else in the country with other gurus. When they see that, they are intrigued, they are inspired, and they are excited about the opportunity to be a part of that. So it's another tool. It's another marketing. It's another marketing tool that we use to enhance the experience of the guest and to give them another reason to want to see the value of Renatus, right? Although we benefit as an IMA and as an education holder in the marketing, in the masterminds and study groups or whatever you call them, the deal or no deal platforms, those types of things, the velocity banking, those are there so that the guest could make another decision, have another reason to make the decision to join Renatus and enroll in the education so that they can participate in those in the next week. It is not about us. It is none of the Renatus events are about us. They are not about the IMA. They are not about the combo holder. They are not about the education holder. They are about the guests. We put these events on because we are an event-driven business, right? I didn't teach this weekend. I did not hold a workshop and share my experiences and share my knowledge that I've gained from Renatus and from all the educators and all my mentors in Renatus. I did not do that so I could teach anybody that was an IMA and a combo holder or an education holder in Virginia. The reason I did that was to help grow Umair and Yaz's group and all of their IMAs. It was to provide them with an event, an opportunity for their guests to experience what the Renatus community is all about. It was a different event. It was one that was there for people to experience and for IMAs to bring in their guests. I'm sure people learn things, but the combo education holders or essentials holders, they have all the education from the better people, right? I have flipped 100 plus houses. Ben and Heather have flipped 800 plus houses. Who would you rather learn from? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, right? Not me. So I'm able to share a lot of experiences over the last 10 years with my education and how Renatus is, and I edified Renatus and the community. And it enabled people to see what was possible for them. And so when they had guests in that room, they closed 3 combos, I think, that weekend. It wasn't even a weekend. It was one day. 1 in the morning when I got there, and 1 at the end, and 1 in the afternoon. It's all about the community. All of these events, intensives included, intensives especially, are literally for your guests. They are not for us. And so our mindset is to be that we are here to go to these events with guests and have the guests get the best experience they can while they're there. And they get to learn a little because we have the education. We have what we need to be successful in Renatus. We do not need the masterminds to do it. You heard Bob, generally speaking, right before this event, as he did not have the internet and the cell phones and the tools to build multi-million-dollar businesses in this industry in the 90s and even early 2000s. He too did not have masterminds and need masterminds to do real estate, right? It's mentors and education that we provide that builds real estate businesses, right? And all the systems that we have and tools that we have in place when you enroll in the education, that's what you get. All the events that we have as an event-driven business, and I've said this over and over again, are there for your guests to have the best experience, get the most information so they can say yes or no to the opportunity with confidence. Right? And most of the time when they gather enough information, when you put them in front of enough information, they will be able to say yes to Renatus because they know it's the number one opportunity around, right? They start to see some of the 4 core beliefs that we have. All right, I got 7:59. Any questions, thoughts? You want to come off mute? You want to type it in the chat? Hopefully that'll help you with your intensive training based on your mindset and then what to say. Talk to your 5-star if they want to make that offer. In my opinion, it's a decent offer. I like it. I'm going to use it. And I'm going to build all week. I'm going to help my team build all week for Chris and for Heather. 2 of the best strategies in the market right now. Everybody wants to learn about wholesaling and fix and flip. It couldn't come at a better time. All right, I got 8 a.m. I'm going to type in my cell phone number one more time, 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141. That's my cell phone. If I miss your call or don't get back to you right away, you guys, especially if you text me again, like the next, that day, end of the day or the next day, because I probably go through 100 texts or more in a day, and sometimes the stuff gets buried. I try to leave them not touched, so I'll look for the new ones. But yeah, David Smith, you're welcome. You're welcome, brother. Joanne, Lily, love you. Tracy, perfect. I can't tell you how much it means to me to hear from you, and you guys are on this. And I know on behalf of all the leaders that talk on these calls, we love it when you guys are here. Reach out to your teams and your colleagues, the other IMAs that even if they're not on your team, to get on these calls and to participate every morning. There's no reason these shouldn't be at 100 people plus. So thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Make it a great day. And I'll see you guys at the intensives. I'll see you this week. I'll see you on the call tomorrow morning. And I'm here for you. Renatus rocks. And thanks for everything. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You're welcome. You too. You guys are awesome. Thank you, MM Door. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, Tracy. See you guys.